So I want to share with you a pattern for a knitted washcloth. Let's do this. The yarn I'm using is sports weight, and I am using a knitting needle that is size 5, and that is 5 millimeters. I think that roughly translates to 6 in US needle sizes. First make a slip knot and cast on 40, where of course the slip knot counts as one stitch. The yarn I'm using is cotton, and that's because I like that for dishcloths. I'm sure there are other alternatives, but I just haven't found any that doesn't give off strange smells when they get wet. So I think cotton for me is just the standard for making practical things such as dishcloths. That is a really hard word to say. I am going to start by making an edge, and when we get to it, I'm also going to use these markers in order to make an edge on the vertical, if that makes any sense. So the first 6 rows, we're going to knit all stitches on both the front and the reverse. Oh, sorry, the right side and the wrong side. So that is going to give us a garter stitch, and it is going to be an edge that doesn't roll, which I think is very nice for these kinds of things. Because you need to remember that even if you do block your knitting, it's going to get wet. That is sort of the purpose of these. And as soon as it gets wet, you sort of have this shape that it is when it's not blocked, because you can't reblock it every time. That would be a waste of time. So what we really want to do is make a dishcloth that doesn't roll. So here I am at the 3rd row, and I'm just knitting all. This will produce this result. And now I'm going to go into the first reverse side row. I am knitting the first 3. And then I am purling the next 34, meaning that I am purling until I have 3 left. And if you are a complete beginner, you might want to put a yarn marker here so that you know when you get back to it that this is the first 3, so that if you have a little bit of a tough time keeping the correct number of stitches on the work, that you're always going to have the last 3 and the first 3 for the border on it. So here I place another marker, and then I knit the remaining 3 stitches. Now the right side is really easy. You just knit all stitches. Both the first 3 and the middle 34. And the marker, you just slip that. It doesn't have any effect on the knitting, or it shouldn't anyway. You just slip it. It just shows you where you are. It has nothing to do with the actual doing the knitting. So this should give you a side that is straight, that is... You have the garter stitch on the edge, and then you have the normal knit stitches in the middle. And when you get to this point where it is square, you're going to, again, do 6 rows that are just plain knits. So just knit every stitch for 6 rows. And then we're going to bind off. Now you could have done a lot of very cool patterns in the middle, and I have seen a lot online that is sort of like this, but they have something in the middle, some like a bunny or a heart or whatever. If you are a complete beginner, this might be a very good way to learn how to do the knits and the purls. And when you get a little bit better, and I mean like when you've done one of these, you could perhaps go into finding a chart for a little bit more of an interesting dishcloth and make that. This is really easy and it's really good practice. And you get to use a dishcloth that you have made yourself when you're done. I am casting off by knitting the next stitch and then grabbing the yarn and pulling it through the 2 stitches on the hook. And then you just cut off the remaining yarn. It does roll a little bit, but it's really not as bad as it would have been had we not done the borders. Now, I have done a lot of different dishcloths, and I really wanted to test this out. So I actually did go out into my filthy kitchen and and try and use it, and it's really good, actually. The sad thing is that I have crocheted a lot of dishcloths, and I wouldn't say that I dislike using them, but this is just better. The plain knit really makes it a little less rough, I guess, than something crocheted, and therefore things don't stay in the dishcloth, and it's really easy to just wring it out, and there's not like breadcrumbs in it or anything. I really like that, and yeah, I should do more of these, and unfortunately I will have to find other projects for crocheting, even though I do have some nice crochet patterns for dishcloths. But thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again next Friday.